somewhere on the road between Prelip, which is where I left about half an hour ago, and Debar, which is just to the south of Mavrovo National Park. That's my ultimate destination in this video. And instead of taking all of the main roads to get there, I'm hoping to wind my way across the mountains and forests and basically see what I can find along the route. The trek is going to be about 70 kilometers in total. That's about 45 miles. But already I've seen some incredible landscape views. Behind me, I think you can see the Pelagonia plains as they head over towards Prelip. All around me is this lush green forest. I can see monasteries perched on the hillside, can see little houses dotted about, and also the next town that I'll be driving through just up on the mountaintop ahead. So I'm looking forward to getting on the road and seeing what we can find as we head towards the southern section of Mavrovo National Park. I am now at one of the country's strangest looking memorials. I am heading up a pathway to go and see it, and while I'm doing that I thought I would talk a little bit about that drive. How crazy was that? I think I may have come off of the main road and gone through the town of Krushevo, which is one of the highest elevation towns in the whole of the Balkans. It is at an altitude of about 1,250 meters, and I now know firsthand that it has a network, a labyrinth if you will, of tiny little cobbled roads that weave off in all the different directions. During the summer it's quite an isolated place. Even though it has a population of about 5,000 people, I saw some lorries delivering some logs getting ready for the long winter. And by the way, in the winter time it does double up as a ski resort. So the memorial is dedicated to people killed in the Ilinden uprising way back in 1903. And I'm standing now in the tomb section, and each one of these points represents somebody who lost their life in that uprising. I'll tell you a little bit about the uprising in just a few moments when we get to the memorial. But right now, as I turn the corner, we should be able to at least see it from a distance. It is called the Macedonium, and you can see that it is very futuristic looking, a testament to Yugoslav architecture. Erected in 1974, it was supposed to look like the future, and you can see both sides here. I'm not entirely sure what we're looking at. It just looks like a whole load of white stalls, and then we have the part of the memorial on both sides of this area, very colourful with these strange shaped blocks. It sure is a surreal experience to be here. I'm a bit closer now to the wall itself, and I was just going to raise a couple of things. I'm not sure if these cracks in the wall are there by design. Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not, but it certainly looks like perhaps they were not, because actually looking at it again, this section here is completely broken. It's a tile and it's completely smashed out, and all the tiles around it are cracked, and then the blocks protruding from the wall itself are hollow. I will tell you a little bit about the uprising because, like I said, it happened in 1903 and it followed hundreds of years of brutal Turkish Ottoman rule in the area. And essentially what happened was a group of locals here from the town decided to revolt and declare this region independent from the Ottoman Empire, and as you can imagine that did not go down very well. It only actually lasted about 10 days before the Ottoman reinforcements turned up, and they brutally massacred all of the people that had taken part in the uprising. Hence why there is now a memorial here on the top of a hill and overlooking the town. Let's see if we can get inside. I've got a feeling it is going to be locked. It certainly looks that way. There is a sign here as well. It says ticket for adults 60 den, ticket for children 30 den, and observation of the monument is chargeable. And yes indeed, there is sadly a padlock on there, so we can't get in. We will just have to observe it from the outside today. Made it about 10 minutes down the road, and I have decided to stop once again because as I was driving I saw this massive North Macedonian flag fluttering away on top of a mountaintop, and there was a road that branched off that looked like it was heading up towards it. So I took a chance and it has paid off because I'm now at the top of a mountain and I'm overlooking all this wonderful, magnificent scenery. I can see all these tiny little villages in the mountains behind me. There's plains, there are ridges along the mountainside, and all these lush forests for as far as the eye can see. The flag is just over behind the camera, and just beyond that you can make out the town that I drove through, Krushevo, and even the little monument. Well, it's little now anyway, it wasn't so little when I was down there, but I can see that from up here as well. And I also should say that I did stop at another monument just before here called the Silver Monument. It is also dedicated to the victims of the 1903 uprising, but I decided not to get out of the car because there were a few stray dogs hovering around the area, and I've noticed before that stray dogs can usually be okay, but if they're hungry they can be quite aggressive. So I stayed in the car and just shot the scene from inside and then headed up to here. So it is all good. I am enjoying the experience so far. There's the rental car, and behind that is another massive cross. We're going to see if we can get up to it. If you're wondering why I've got my coat and hoodie on, it is because I am at quite an altitude now and the weather has turned pretty cold and very, very windy. But I'm not going to let that deter me. As I'm heading up towards the cross here, I'll just turn around and tell you that the cross, the information I could find on it says that it is 10 meters, 33 feet high. I've got a feeling it's a lot higher than that. I may be wrong. Thought looking around me we can see 360-degree panoramic views around, so I thought I would tell you in terms of the country of North Macedonia. It has Kosovo and Serbia to the north, Albania to the west, Bulgaria to the east, and Greece to the south. So that is where it sits on the Balkan Peninsula. Let me show you this. This is where I have come from. So I'm pretty certain that somewhere over there in the distance, see if I can zoom in a bit, maybe over there actually, is Prelip. That's where I started the day. And I've driven right the way across these plains. You can see why it's so windy. Wind coming across these plains like billy-o. There's the flag once again. And as we come around, there is the cross. It's got to be more than 10 meters, surely. And just over here we can see some more sweeping, magnificent views. That is where we are heading, by the way. We are driving further into the mountains. Hopefully not on that road. That looks like a dirt track. Heading out to a remote village somewhere, I guess. But perhaps that is the road we're taking, down there. Looks paved. But yeah, absolutely spectacular. A pleasure to be here. bit of a problem in that up there is a little church, apparently. The house up there, but the road has just stopped. It's now turned into this pretty rugged trail road. I'm not sure whether to follow it up there or not. The last thing I want to do is get stuck. I definitely won't be going down that way. I think that's to somebody's house, and there is a nice little garden here belonging to someone as well. So it's a lovely little village. The problem is if I go back, I've got about a 45-50 minute drive in completely the wrong direction, and it's already getting quite late. So I'm tempted, but as I said, last thing I want to do is get stuck. I've just walked up a little way to get an idea as to what I'm up against, and I've got to tell you, this looks pretty bad. I do not think I'm going to be able to continue with a car. Look at this. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but there is just boulders and rocks, and it looks like it does get steeper as well. So when I hired the car from the airport, the guy gave me his number. I guess it was a company number, and he said, if you get any problems, just give me a call. I do not fancy calling him to tell him that I've got his car stuck in mud somewhere in the middle of North Macedonia. So back in the car, I think we'll turn around and we'll head back towards Krushevo. Well, wouldn't you know it, I've just reached the point where if I'd have followed that dirt track, this is where it would have come out. That would have been about a 30-minute drive, and it's just taken me about an hour and 50 minutes to get all the way around using the main roads. And unbelievably enough, at this end anyway, it is paved. So that means somewhere in the middle there, and I don't know for how long, and I don't know how bad it would have got, but there is a rather nasty unpaved section. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't chance it, but it always does make you wonder, well, I wonder if I could have made it. We'll never know. I'm just at the junction. As I said, there's a little stone building there. Now, to get to my hotel tonight, if I continue driving the main road route, it'll take me about 2 hours 15 minutes, and if I cut through using another small road that I just don't know very much about, but Google is telling me, like it told me last time, to try and avoid it. I was routing this morning, trying to figure out the best way of coming here, and Google just did not want to come down that dirt track, and you can tell why. It's the same for the next section. Well, it looks like I have fallen at the last hurdle here. Real shame. The second time today. What rotten luck. At first it was paved and I thought, brilliant, this is going to be good. And then it got really muddy and lots of potholes, and I thought maybe I should turn back. And then again it turned to a paved road. So I was thinking, my word, I may have got my luck in here. So I continued on, and then came to this. I think they are probably building this section of the road. It is pretty muddy, pretty boggy at the moment, and it turns pretty steeply just around the corner there. So there's a number of chicanes just up the mountainside here, and I really do not want to chance my luck. For the main reason, I think, do you know what? If it was the morning and I had loads of light left, I would actually go and try it. But because it is now 30 minutes from sunset, the sat-nav or Google Maps is telling me that to get to this bridge, it is going to take an hour and 10 minutes. So I am going to have to do parts of it in the dark. I don't have any cell phone reception. And so once again, for the second time today, I am going to have to use my head and not my heart and abandon this part of the trip. I am going to have to head all the way back now to the main road, and then I've got about a 2 hour, 15-minute drive all the way around to my accommodation tonight. Followed by a stray dog trying to find the Hotel Tutu. Well, I am very pleased to say that I've made it. I have arrived at my hotel, the Hotel Tutu, in the small village of Janch in the south of Mavrovo National Park here in North Macedonia. And they say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and boy have we had a wild one today. After I left the second mud road, Google Maps brought me through the main part of the national park, and I stopped at the town of Mavrovo for some food. I was really hungry, so I stopped by a roadside wooden cabin that was serving dinner, and I had myself a chicken steak with rice, potato and a basket of bread. I also had a can of Fanta, and the whole thing came to about £6 sterling, which is about 430 Macedonian dinar. But I am now, as I said, at my hotel. I'm going to give you a room tour tomorrow morning in the next video. I'm hoping to make 2 videos tomorrow here in the national park itself, but we'll see how that goes. Right now though, I am going to get myself a shower, a shampoo, a shave, and then get a shift on into bed. I am going to sleep like a baby.